What's up, gamers? It's Nova, your favorite virtual adventurer, and welcome back to A Splash Of, a series where I talk about games that I completed on stream and how I felt about them. Today I will be talking about Resident Evil Code Veronica, the fourth game in my BioSaga, a journey where I play through every single Resident Evil game in order on stream. This video will contain spoilers for Code Veronica, so if you haven't played it, it's a fantastic game. Stop watching this video, go play it, and then come back here. Alright, so right from the start, I'm just gonna say, Code Veronica, favorite game so far that I've played in the Resident Evil franchise, and that's going off of 1, 2, and 3 Nemesis. Code Veronica stands at the top. Now, first of all, it is the first game that veers away from that, like, classic Resident Evil, like, old PlayStation 1 vibe. I played Code Veronica X on the PlayStation 2, and it is miles above the first 3 games. The camera angles are more dynamic, the controls are more, like, snappy and responsive. The UI is beautiful, the set pieces are wonderful, the cutscenes they're better. In this game, you take the role of Claire Redfield, who is looking for her brother Chris. While looking for him, she gets taken to Rockford Island, which is an Umbrella prison camp. It's here that she meets Steve, her little Canadian emo boyfriend, and yeah, I have thoughts to share about that. But first I want to talk about what Code Veronica does so well is the puzzle box, which I have always loved about the Resident Evil franchise, is the puzzle box mechanic. The entire map is one big puzzle that needs to be solved. So as you're running around, you find a locked door. Oh, this has like the crest of an eagle on it. So then you find an eagle crest. Oh, but I can't use that eagle crest because I can't get it through here because it's made of this metal and I need to get this to make... Like, this game does that better than any of the games so far. I adored that. It made me feel smart. It makes you think. It trusts you. And Rockford Island was a pretty big map. You had, like, the military training grounds, you had like the main area, you had the Ashford Mansion, there were so many different places, the airport, and between all these places you're running around trying to solve puzzles. It was so good. Now what wasn't good was the Bandersnatches, those fucking long stretchy arm boys who could hit you from across the room. Fuck them. I hate them. They can go die in a hole. When I got the grenade launcher, it was on site, buddy. It was fucking on site. And speaking of weapons, the bow gun, okay? I have something to say about that too. That first stretch of the game, I was picking up so much bowgun ammo. I was picking up so many like bowgun powder. And no bowgun, where's the bowgun? I want a full stream, bowgun, where you at, bowgun? That doesn't sound like a word anymore. But I ended up with 360 bowgun bolts with no weapon to use it. It almost became like, I thought I was going mad. I'm like, did I miss it? Like, I looked it up, like, oh, it's in this area, but I can't get to that area. Eventually, I got it. The explosive rounds are pretty good. The bolts, just like a pew, 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 pew. You know, it was fast, but it felt like I was shooting tiny little needles into army tanks. So, oh well. But I will say that the bolt gun came in clutch. It came in clutch real good, and I'm going to talk about that later when I talk about the final boss. I'll tell you. I'll tell you about what happened. It's funny as fuck. But let's talk about Steve, right? Steve Burnside. A young boy whose father sold classified information from Umbrella, and he paid for his father's crimes by being trapped on this island, basically. He was annoying as fuck. Oh, I'm sorry, Claire. I'm so sorry. I felt like every turn he was just like trying too hard to be cool. Like, huh, yeah, Claire, you're pretty. I meant pretty cool, you know, like that kind of vibe. And I'm like, come on, man, really? We're like in the middle of a zombie apocalypse and you're trying to flirt with this girl who's just trying to survive and see her brother again. And then the scene with his father, where he sees his father zombified. Father! I couldn't take it seriously. I'm sorry. He's just like the most cringy, annoying, goofy guy. He felt like comic relief, and they were trying to tell a serious story with this comic relief character. It did not hit. It did hit at the end though, which again, I'll get to. I kind of want to do this in like a little bit of a chronological order of my thoughts as I went along, so otherwise I would just tell you now. So we also ended up meeting Alfred and Alexia, who ended up just being Alfred, who was cross-dressing as his sister who wasn't around anymore. What the fuck, bro? Like, I'm learning now about the Ashford family is one of the founders of Umbrella, and then they made like a different virus, the mother virus, which, and then like they were trying to bring back the founder of the Ashford family, Veronica, by using this virus, and it's like, what the fuck is happening here? They're batshit insane. But in the end, we got out of there. We went to Antarctica, hence the backdrop of where we are now. That's the plane that they crashed in Antarctica. Not really, I just thought it was a good set piece. And that was an interesting segment of the game, you know? That was a very interesting setting. I liked it a lot. It was different from anything that Resident Evil had done so far. An Antarctic base. Of course Umbrella has an Antarctic base, like, obviously. I also forgot to mention, there was a report from Hunk about him leaving Raccoon City with, I think it was the G virus. Like, I hadn't played the fourth Survivor, so I ended up watching a playthrough of it after reading that report. Hunk is fucking cool. I didn't say that before. He's fucking cool. Terrifying. Probably a really bad dude, but, like, takes no bullshit. So, yeah, anyway, I met Nosferatu, which ended up being, what was it, Alexander Ashcroft, their father? Ashford. Anyway, Alexander Ashford ended up getting experimented on by his daughter and became a big hulking zombie that they were, like, sealing with a battle axe. When I first saw that, when I walked over the grating and saw him below, I actually got chills. That freaked me the fuck out. And thank God for Alfred's sniper, otherwise I would not have survived that battle. So we're leaving Antarctica, we're heading out. Oh goody, Alexia is revived, and she has giant tendrils that go under the surface of Antarctica and fucking kill Claire and Steve. What the fuck? I think this was the first time in all of Resident Evil that I was like, okay, actually, respectfully, what the fuck? Everything else was, like, goofy and, like, you know, at least I could make sense of. This was just like, excuse me? Oh, and I forgot to mention Wesker's back, and he's like a monster with the freaky eyes. Of course he's back. I wasn't sure what to make of this either, but again, that's for the end of the game. I got thoughts to share on that too. So yeah, bam, Claire and Steve are dead. Meanwhile, Chris, like, they just cut to it with no ceremony. It was like, yeah, those two are probably dead. Let's see what Chris is up to. Hey, what's Chris doing? Climbing up a fucking mountain. Like, yeah, oh, I'm so cool. I'm so tough. I'm Chris Redfield. He gets up there. Now he's on Rockford Island looking for his sister. And I was like, sorry, man, you just missed her. And then, what was his name? I think it was like Rodrigo or something, the guy who you cure during Claire's playthrough. Man, I loved that dude. He was, like, such a genuinely good dude. And, like, he's, like, trying to help Chris out. Like, oh, yeah, your sister's probably safe. I think she left with the airplanes. And I'm like, man, I really hope this dude survives. Then the worm comes out of the ground and eats him. Apparently you can save him. I was not fast enough. I ended up coming back later, and he was already dead. Oh, well, sorry, buddy. Couldn't save you. I really liked this part of the game because it was revisiting an area that I was already familiar with different things happening. So, of course, now we have, like, destroyed, burning ruins. We had, like, walls that were caved in. You know, the ground was missing in some spots, and you could see down into the sewers from there. It was a really fucking cool part of the game. And then, of course, Wesker, good old Wesker, brings back Chris's biggest PTSD point from the first game. Those fucking hunters. What a goddamn nightmare. What an actual goddamn nightmare that was. Just minding my own business, walking down a hallway. Oh, what's that on the ceiling? Oh, it spotted me. Fucking comes out of nowhere with a giant-ass claws. Luckily, I was able to avoid most of them and make my way through the island. I apparently forgot that the airport was a thing, though, because I wandered the military camp about 12 times before I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Finds the airport. Oh, look, progress. Imagine that. The one area I didn't go. I feel like there's not a whole lot to say about the Rockford Island experience as Chris. It was good. It was just more good gameplay. It was fun playing as Chris again. He definitely has more personality than he did in the first game, but he's still like, yeah, I'm a tough guy. I'm strong. Oh, yeah, kill zombies. You know, it was still very much like action hero vibes. But I like that I got to see him again. So he takes off to Antarctica, and then now we're in the final stretch of the game. Now I have a couple of points I'm just going to rapid fire through right now because this is like the final stretch of the game, and there's so much shit that happened here that I don't want to delve too much into the details of it, just like my initial reactions and like the shock value of it all. So we're in Antarctica, right? Alexia is alive. She's cackling up a storm on the monitors. There was like a throwback to Spencer Mansion at one part, which was pretty cool, with the statue with the pot on its head with the map in the pot. That was really cool. Alexia ended up throwing a giant spider at me at one point, and there's a running joke in my playthrough so far in my BioSaga that spiders are friend-shaped. And I'm like, oh, goddamn, now I have to kill one? It's a giant spider? Because the joke is that, like, oh, you can just run past the spiders. They don't really actually bother you that much. They're, like, one of the easier enemies in my mind. Because a zombie, it'll, like, lunge at you. A spider just skitters around, goes like this, and then tries to get you, but you can just run by in that time. So I'm like, fuck, this ruins it. I didn't have to fight it. I just left. I just literally left that room. Spider's probably still there. Oh, wait, we blew up the base. Spider's probably dead. But then Alexia ends up transforming? Excuse me? And she has, like, fire blood? What is up with that? What the fuck? Where did that come from? She's kind of a baddie in that form, though. I'm just gonna say. Hear me out. But she ends up going against Wesker. Wesker's got his own agenda now. He's a fucking little weasel. For a second, I thought we were gonna team up to take on Alexia. Like, that old trope of, like, enemies becoming allies against a, you know, like a mutual foe, and then going back to being enemies afterwards. But nah, he's just a weasel. He left us to fight. That battle wasn't too bad, but it was cool how you had to, like, dodge, like, the flame blood. I still don't quite understand how she does that, or how that relates to her power, but it's Resident Evil. There is that puzzle at this section of the game where you have to turn off the power to get the jewels from the tiger's eyes to bring up to the mansion to insert into the music boxes to replace as the thoraxes of the ant motifs to get the music box running to go upstairs. I was so confused at that part, but what a phenomenal puzzle that was. It's one puzzle out of this whole game, and I thought that was such a clever thing. They did such a good job with that. Now let's talk about Steve. Poor fucking Steve. Poor fucking Steve. You know, he'd been a pain in the ass this whole game. He tried to kiss Claire while she was unconscious. Like, he was a creep. He was annoying. He was traumatized, you know, admittedly. He didn't know human contact because he's been on this base his whole life. But he didn't deserve what happened to him. He didn't deserve that. The fact that he got injected with Alexia's, like, virus and ended up morphing into that monster. I actually teared up at that scene where he's just, like, being held against the axe and he's just like, Claire, help me. I can't breathe. Claire, please. Okay, Steve, I'm sorry for everything I said about you up to this point. You don't fucking deserve that fate. That fucked with me. Though I will say him saving Claire was... It was corny. It was very sweet, don't get me wrong, but, like, big hulking monster. Huh? I saved you. I love you. You know, that I ended up kind of getting... I was kind of out of the moment at that point. But everything else, very emotional, very emotional. God rest his soul, God rest his soul. But he might be alive. Wesker says that they took him, so he might be alive. He might regenerate. Who knows? I feel like they wouldn't say that unless they're planning on bringing him back. So we'll see what happens to Steve in the future. Which brings us to our final fight against Alexia, the Queen Ant morph. She transforms into this big hulking mass, and God, what a fucking nightmare that was. Spawning bugs constantly through the battle. And of course, I know that in, like, a subsequent playthrough, you could put stuff in the storage chest between Claire and Chris when you know what's going to happen. But this is a blind playthrough. So as Chris, I was stuck with the shotgun, the handgun, the bow gun. That's all I had in terms of weapons. I didn't have an assault rifle. I never found it. The submachine guns, they were out of ammo. The grenade launcher Claire had. So I was just, fuck it. This is all I have. I died like 4 times, maybe 5 times. And that final run, I'm like, hear me out. I got an idea. I'm killing Alexia today. So I stocked up with 5 healing items, my shotgun, and the bow gun. And people thought I was crazy. People thought I could never do it. But I went in there, I ran up to her, didn't use all my shotgun blasts, and I ran back to the corner of the map, and I just sat there with my bow gun. I just did that until she died, and it fucking worked. And any time that I was low on health, I just healed it back up. I mean, I had 5 healing items, so it worked out pretty good. Bowgun, I'm so sorry for anything bad I ever said about you. God bless your soul. You are the best weapon in Resident Evil Code Veronica. But then I laser her out of the sky. She's dead. Alexi is gone. The place is blowing up. And fucking Wesker, the professional hater, shows his weaselly little face again. And I gotta say, I love this man. I understand why people love Wesker. He's a fucking little rat, and I love it. He is the #1 Chris Redfield hater, and I'm here for it. For a moment, I thought I was going to have to actually fight him, and I'm like, I only have a bowgun, are you kidding me? But no, it was all a cutscene. Chris crushes him. I find out that he's weak to fire. He got burned on his face, and he was like, ugh. And then he went on his way, the little rascal. Off he goes into the unknown with Steve. And that was my experience with Code Veronica. I love this game. I'm really happy I played it. I'm really happy I'm sticking with the BioSaga. And if you guys want to join me on this journey, follow me at twitch.tv/NovaRedux. I stream every week. It's supposed to be every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Lately, it's been on and off on Tuesdays because of my work schedule, but join the Discord to be up to date on the latest of when I'm going to be streaming. Chris and Claire are finally reunited. They're in a fighter jet, and they're heading towards Umbrella to finally take down this company that has given them so much fucking grief. And I am so excited to see where this story goes from here. We still got Ada and Leon and Jill, and all of them are still out there, right? What are they doing? I'm so excited to see what happens next. Our next game is Resident Evil 0, so I will see you in that one. Have a good day, everybody. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye-bye.